You're with Express 24/7, where we're doing a special show to launch 20 years of Junoon. We have been covering them. We talked to Salman Ahmed just before the break. Also, US-based multi-instrumentalist, composer, actor, and also high school acquaintance of Salman Ahmed, Brian O'Connell, joined Junoon in 1992 as a bass guitarist and later took over as the band's producer. He was best known for harmonizing Western 5-string bass riffs with the traditional tabla and drums, combining two different styles of music seamlessly. Brian joins us on the line now from New York. Let's talk to him about the 20th anniversary of Junoon. Thanks very much for joining us. Brian, talk to us. What was your journey like becoming a part of Junoon and as a part of Junoon?
Well, Salman, the journey goes back almost 20 years. I wasn't present on Junoon's first album, but Salman and I go back, way back, probably about the age of 13 is when he and I were together. Made a lot of music before he returned to Pakistan, and I went out to college. He went over and recorded Junoon 1, brought it back for me to listen to, and I was very impressed with what he and the investors had done. And when he invited me over to help with the production of Talash, I thought it was going to be just a 4-month stint, but I ended up staying there for 12 years. So it's been an incredible journey. Started out very, very slow, but I saw there was a potential. We built a following and traveled the world, and it was a fantastic experience. Absolutely fantastic.
Now, Brian, according to your experience with Junoon, what would you say set the band apart from the rest of the bands in Pakistan at that time?
Well, I think there's a number of things. First of all, was our commitment. We believed in what we did, and even though most of the people at the time said, no, there's no audience for this, there's no future for this type of music, we felt strongly that there was. Then when we were more accepted, we realized that we could convey a strong message through our lyrics, through the rock type of music or the unique type of music we were creating at the time. So we were basically kind of fearless. We believed in what we did, being artists, and even amidst everything up to death threats for performance, we just kept on going. Well, maybe that's what separated us from the rest.
Brian, was it difficult for you to adjust as a bass guitarist, especially after Junoon switched to Sufi rock? How did that transition go for you?
Oh, it was fantastic. It was the most learning experience in my life. I had to learn the rhythms of that part of the world, and the tabla and dolik are very much a part of my soul, and it completely changed my playing for the better. And it's definitely a part of my playing today. Without that influence, I wouldn't have what I do now.
Brian, what were some of the best things and also the worst things about Junoon as far as your experience with them went?
Well, the best thing still is about Junoon. It's about passion, and we're all very passionate about our art. And I think that in itself is kind of a double-edged sword, because artists, we tend to have our own little visions for how things go toward the end of Junoon's career as a threesome. I think that ideas were going in different directions. And again, artists were tough people to live with. I think personalities may have clashed.
Brian, this will be a difficult one to answer. We also asked Salman Ahmed this, but what was the one song that was your favorite out of all the songs that you did with Junoon?
Well, on any different day of the week, it changes. Tonight, Michi is strong in my soul. You know, whatever we create, it's going back to dirt. You know, God creates us the way He sees fit. We're here for a short time, and then before you know it, we're back in the ground. So we must make the best of each day while we're still here.
Brian, I'm sure when you spend so much time together as a band, touring and performing, things can be good and things can be bad between all the band members. But it's said that between Salman and Ali, you worked as a mediator after differences emerged between the two. Can you comment on that?
Very true. Very true. But I think my personality is quite mellow. I prefer not to be on edge with anyone else. I'm very accepting, and the clashes between Ali and Salman. Sometimes I was able to be the band-aid in between the two of them. We all are brothers, and you know how brothers would fight. So I don't know if that's still the case. Hopefully it can be. I mean, if that's my strength in reuniting the three of us, then so be it. I'm all for it, because I believe that. Well, I don't know. I hope it's in God's plans that the three of us can work together again. If we can get back together again, it would be a wonderful thing.
Ryan, how difficult was it to make the decision to leave the band, especially given the success it was enjoying at that time?
Well, it depends on what yardstick you use for success. Success for me is being able to participate in a musical dream and create music and deliver it to people. Other people, their dream is to make it big, you know, and material-wise. That really never meant much to me. But when that three-legged stool that we used to call Junoon started getting a little wobbly, I decided to come back here, and being the American that I am, you know, kind of set my roots here in America, live a little more of a humble life. I didn't really like the limelight too much. I still don't. I prefer to live a very quiet life, and I can do that here. Couldn't really do that over in Pakistan anymore, so I'm quite comfortable here now.
Now, lastly, Brian, coming to the 20th anniversary album of Junoon, how is it performing with Salman for this anniversary, and will we be seeing the both of you working together more in the future?
I have a very strong feeling that absolutely. Absolutely. What we experienced on stage together was just magical. It was hard to believe. I'd close my eyes and I felt like it was 10 years ago. And then I'd open my eyes and I'd see that Salman's son was on stage with us, and I realized, oh my gosh, time flies. So the members do change and everyone bit, but that soul bond and that magical feeling that you get when we're just into the passion of the music, that didn't change at all. So it was a wonderful experience for all present. I missed Ali a lot.
Well, thanks very much for speaking with us. Brian O'Connell, the bass player of Junoon, talking to us all the way from New York about some of the highs, the lows, and especially what he went through being a part of Junoon. Now, at the peak of their creativeness, Junoon influenced many other aspiring musicians. It helped other bands become brave enough to venture into the genre of rock without fear of oppression or even rejection from the music-listening population. And many of those bands and musicians went on to become artists in their own right, creating a niche for themselves in Pakistani music. We talked to all those who were inspired by Junoon's music, and also some of those who lent their interpretations of their music on the 20th anniversary album. Take a look.
Junoon is widely admitted as one of the biggest influences on many musicians in Pakistan. Thousands in Pakistan and abroad have grown up on the band's music in the last 2 decades. Bilal Khan, one of the most appreciated talents on Coke Studio this year, was contacted via email by Salman Ahmed, guitarist of Junoon, a month back.
Well, I'd always loved this riff from this song called Aap Aur Hum. And so I took their guitar riff, and keeping that guitar riff in mind, I put up a new sort of melody and tune to it, and tried to create a new thing that has the same essence as the Sufi music that Junoon was so famous for.
Khan says one of the reasons why he is a musician is Junoon.
I had a cassette that I used to listen in my Walkman, and that would just keep playing. And it was a cassette of their songs performed live all over the world, whether it was New York or there, that. It had like real audience noise behind them. So it felt amazing to sort of have that feeling of pretending to be them while, playing those songs.
Not just Khan, but Haroon and Usman Sheikh of the band Aag say the same for Junoon.
Junoon is like the benchmark, I'd say. For it is a band that anyone should look up to.
However, they believe that the current generation of teenagers are not familiar with the iconic status of the band.
जनरेशन एक पूरी इस तरह की है जो कि बच्चे हैं जिन्हें कुछ पता ही नहीं है कि जुनून कौन है और क्या है और क्यों है यार, ठीक है ना। उन्होंने बस सुना हुआ है और एक दो जो टॉप के गाने हैं उन्हें पता है, उससे आगे उन्हें पता ही नहीं है।
Aag is covering Junoon's song Mitti. While some hail Ahmed's decision, which is giving youngsters a chance of more exposure, the fact that the original band members, singer Ali Azmat, songwriter guitarist Salman Ahmed and guitarist Brian O'Connell are not collaborating on the Junoon tribute album, having disbanded over major differences, was a major disappointment for fans. Despite the excitement of many on the 20th anniversary of Junoon, there are others who think that Junoon, without the original lineup of the band, is not really Junoon. Another guitarist influenced by Junoon's music is Hassan of Entity Paradigm, a band whose first album was critically acclaimed a decade back.
I attended a Junoon concert. It was a Junoon concert last week in New York, and it has Salman Ahmed and Brian O'Connell. It was a fundraiser in Manhattan, but really didn't have that, something.
Amidst such a mix of opinions lives the legacy of one of the biggest bands of the world. Rabia Mahmood, Express 24/7, Lahore.
And that's an entire generation of musicians taking inspiration and direction from Junoon. And as we saw, the band continues to play an influencing role in so many musicians' lives. We'll be taking a short break here, but when we return, we'll have a special guest in the studio with us. He's the frontman, lead singer and lead guitarist of the band Lal, that came to the music scene in 2008 and really gained prominence during the lawyers' movement with their politically motivated songs, especially with the song Kala Aur Kal, putting to music the words of a poem by one of the leaders of the lawyers' movement, Aitazaz Ehsan, this poem which he wrote while under house arrest. Lal's first album, Ummeed-e-Seher, was released in 2009, and their second album is now slated for release by the end of this year in Pakistan as well as in India. So after the break, join me, Mavish Wakar, as I talk to Taimur Rahman of Lal about the contribution he's made for the Junoon 20 anniversary album and what it means to him to be a Junoonie.